Hi, Aidan. Well played. We ask you about the bowling plans a lot, but obviously today was different. I think you described the wicket as tacky up front, and then we saw quite a bit of pace on actually at the beginning, and then pace off at the end. Can you just talk us through those, how that worked?
Yeah, it actually, I mean, up front it was tacky and felt like the new ball was the seam because it was hard with holding the wicket and either nip or have a bit of extra bounce. And with our boys, you need to try use that as much as you can when it's on offer. It got a bit tricky at some stage with the balance of do you continue with that or, I mean, I think to a lot of us it looked like the wicket kept getting better and better and then going to as if it's a really flat one and how would we approach it from there. So that's pretty much why the plans changed today. Credit to the bowlers to be able to get it right the way that they did. More often than not you just end up doing one thing throughout and for them to adapt and change and still pretty much execute was a big feather in their cap.
We're all talking about Lungi, but I'm just wondering about a word on Corbin Bosch. He bowled an excellent last over and he's got a great economy rate. You know, what is he doing that's so impressive?
I think he just keeps it really, really simple. He trains smartly, he trains hard, he doesn't give himself too many options, he just tries to get really good at the things that he backs. Obviously bowls a really good Yorker, which everyone has seen, and it's nice to be able to have that sort of variety, I guess, in our attack, because we've got some tall guys that hit the wicket really hard. You have a Lungi that's got a really deceptive slow ball, and then Marco and KG are Marco and KG. So it's been a great addition since he's joined in the, I don't know how long it's been now, maybe 18 months, and yeah, he keeps training well and keeps getting better and better.
Was it, Aidan, there during that partnership you've mentioned now that the wicket kept getting better while Holder and Shepherd were batting and building a nice partnership. What sort of was the thinking from you guys? Because I know Shai Hope also now said that they were maybe 40 or 50 runs short. Was that always in the back of your mind as well, or what was the thinking? Were you frustrated?
I mean, you can get frustrated when you have a team, I don't know what it was, 7 down or something, but you have to try paint a bigger picture and see the reasons behind it. Is it poor bowling? Is it good batting? Or has the wicket become really good? And I thought they played really well. Obviously, two massive humans and their mishits go for 6 and makes it tougher for you and keeps you challenged and locked in as a bowling group. But yeah, I thought 180, you still need to bat well, but the way that the wicket kept getting better and better, it didn't feel like it was too much of a stretch.
For you guys now, you've beaten 3 of the best teams in the comp in New Zealand, India and the West Indies quite comprehensively. Is there sort of almost a danger that, you know, was it too easy, you know, going into the semis? I don't know if you understand what I mean, like the mindset after such comprehensive performances against such good teams.
Yeah, it doesn't feel easy, to be honest. The boys are, every game, every meeting we have, they're fully locked in, and we've been on good and bad sides at World Cups, and it's definitely not something this group would take for granted. I don't think it's even worth mentioning to the group. The guys have a lot of pride and are really on a mission to try achieve something, and you sort of don't want to create things where there aren't really anything. So if we need to guard against it based on what our eyes tell us, we'll mention it, but for the time being the guys have been tracking really well.
Aidan, like you guys, West Indies came here today an unbeaten side, and now, you know, suddenly it looks very hard for them to reach the semis. Does that give you an appreciation for how cutthroat it is? One loss and you might be gone.
Massively. We guys put in a really good performance a couple nights ago, and you wake up the next morning and you go, geez, it still could all be over in a couple of days' time. So it is seriously cutthroat. It's a high level of cricket, obviously, but the intensity and the amount of energy that drains you each game is quite high. So you need to stay on your toes. As we mentioned earlier, you can't take many things for granted and keep locking into ultimately why you're here. So it can be really cutthroat, really good teams. Can be tough at times, but I think we've all been through that in specifically a T20 World Cup.
To go into a game now against Zimbabwe, who I think most people would say you should beat, you know, how do you go into that?
Yeah, I mean, it can sometimes be more nerve-wracking, to be honest, but you give them the absolute respect that they deserve. They're there for a reason and have beaten some quality teams in the sort of group stages and coming into this. So again, if you want to win a competition, you want to keep the good things going for as long as possible, and you don't want to take your foot off the gas. And I'm sure that's where a lot of the conversations will be around going into that game.
Aiden, you spoke about Lungi's slow deliveries. With the copious amount of video analysis now available, every unique and unplayable delivery eventually gets deciphered. Sam came up with the moon ball, which for a point seemed unplayable, and now batters have started to pick it up. What is it about Lungi's deeper Yorkers that makes him so deceptive? When you are facing him in the nets, what is it that kind of sets him apart from the other bowlers?
I think he just nails it, to be honest. So the deception of pace is obviously massive. He bowls a really good Yorker in between all of that to keep you on your toes, and he lands it exactly where it's meant to land. So ultimately that's what it always comes down to. On really good wickets, if you just miss, it can still travel, but ultimately it's one of his best skills, that and his Yorker at the back end, and if he keeps mixing it, that's something that I'm sure he'll keep really close to him and keep backing, because you have to back something, and ultimately you want to back what's working and something that you're comfortable doing.
Your reasons behind your unbeaten run in this competition is that every player has contributed when the need was there. In the last few matches we've seen Jansen and Keshav were the better bowlers. This time around the first 2 overs were expensive. KG did not pick any wicket in the last 3 games. Today he kind of changed the game with the 3rd over. As a captain, how relieving it is at this stage of the competition that all of your bowlers are contributing at some stage of the competition?
Yeah, it's massive, because you don't ever want to get into a T20 comp where you feel like you're relying on a handful of guys. If one guy has a tough day, you trust that someone picks up their load, and you keep doing that game through game and sharing that sort of load. So we're fortunate to be in that position. It doesn't always work out that way, but we're fortunate to be in that position.
The 18th over by Jansen went for 23 runs. Did it kind of worry you guys that next 2 overs they could have gone up to 200? And what did you plan to kind of stop that? Because you all gave only 13 runs in last 2 overs. So was there any kind of discussion before these 2 overs were bowled? That, and the other thing is, do you think your team is speaking too early?
I think the planning was exactly what happened in the last 2 overs. So the guys executed that and got it right and kept them under that 200 mark. But the West Indies is always a team that they can make 60 in 3 overs and it'll feel like it's normal. So you have to appreciate that and ultimately back your plans, which I thought the guys did really well. Peaking too early, it's hard to say. We're just taking it game by game and trying to tackle it head on and see where it sort of gets us. So hopefully we can keep continuing the good cricket we're playing.
Hi. So South Africa have played 5 matches here. So how do you think that experience helped you with both bat and ball today, or did it at all?
Yeah, we've been fortunate to play here for sure. We sensed it was tacky up front, it was tacky in the previous day game that we played here, and obviously that affects the toss and how you operate in the power play, I guess. So that familiarity helps. I think the guys get comfortable with conditions and knowing what to expect. Having said that, the India wicket, that was completely different to what we've had here, and still in nowadays you have to keep a really open mind and try and come up with plans and adapt to the wicket as much as you can.